Hello. Okay, my name is Sydney Sharp, and I did my book report on How to Be Internet Famous by Brendan Cox. So, three things that surprised me. The first thing that really surprised me is that followers really don't mean as much as I thought they did. Um, he was saying how like someone with 10,000 followers can make way more money than say someone with a million followers because it has more to do with how much your followers are engaging with you rather than just people mindlessly following you. And also, if you have a niche topic, and then that will get your audience more engaged, you can make some serious money. And he was saying how people, even with like 5,000 to 10,000 followers, if they know how to brand themselves and just put themselves in the best opportunities to make the most money off of brand deals, like those more niche brand deals, then they can actually make a lot more money than, say, somebody with a lot of followers that doesn't know how to brand themselves. And I just thought that was really interesting because I have like 2,500 followers on Instagram. So now I'm really thinking that maybe I should become a social media influencer. And then he also said to never buy followers, which I think I already knew, but he said it was the absolute worst thing that you could do because when you have all these followers, but they aren't actually engaging with your content, then that just puts you in a really bad place for the algorithm, not only for TikTok, but also Instagram and any other social media platform, because they won't push out your content because if not even the people following you are engaging with it, then no one else, they think no one else will want to engage with it either. So that was the first thing that really surprised me. And then the second thing that surprised me was that he talked about if you want to be a social media influencer, that you should find your why, which I thought was a little cliche when I first read it because I don't know, I just think that's funny. Like, find something you're passionate about, find your why. I feel like it's easy to say, but a lot of people actually do things more for the money. But when he explained it a little further, then I guess he kind of got me on board because he said, find something you're passionate about. And on the internet, you can create content about anything because there's so many users and so many people that want to find those niche topics. So there's going to be a place for you and whatever you're passionate about. Say it's like horseback riding, which I'm not into, but there is going to be a large amount of people that are into that niche topic. So it is best to actually do something you're passionate about, which is a relief because I feel like in my business classes, they've been talking about how businesses really need to find their why and then they can build everything off of that. So it's kind of relief to see that. It's also the same for personal brand or social media brand, is basing your entire personal brand off of something you're passionate about. And then the last thing that actually was the most surprising to me is how important Brendan Cox said comments were. Just said that they mean a lot more than you think. I've actually never really thought much of them, but I guess he's right because I do always read the comments, especially on TikTok. I like to know what everyone's saying. And I actually find myself liking comments more than I actually like actual videos. And he said that comments are the reason content goes viral on the internet. And he was saying, if you want to go viral, then post something that you know people are going to comment on. So like it could be something weird that people are like, why would they post this? Or just something that's bound to get the users to drop a comment. Because if the more comments you get, then the more the algorithm will push your content for more engagement. So those were the three things I found interesting. And then just going off of the business side of things, thinking about my own interaction with social media influencers, I think the way that they get me the most is like the fashion and beauty industry. And I will not be afraid to admit that I really do buy things based off what like the cool girls on TikTok and Instagram are telling me to buy because they know better than I do. And they're in with the trends and they're pretty. So I just do whatever they say pretty much. And a really good, he talked a lot about, Brendan Cox talked a lot about brand integrations, which he said was a good way to reach audiences, especially like young audiences like our age, because we're not as much prone to looking at advertisements, like traditional forms of advertisements, like TV commercials or billboards, because they're a little too obvious and invasive almost. because they're like really coming at you. And instead with like a brand integration, then the products, the influencers can just feature the products in their posts and they could be a little bit more nonchalant about it. So say like a girl's wearing a top that you really like, and then you click her link tree in her bio and you see that you can click straight to the link where she got the shirt. And I actually do that a lot. So yeah, companies can slowly advertise their products by including them in influencers' day-to-day content. And then it ends up being a win-win for both parties because the influencers can get compensated, obviously, for posting those ads, or they can get those products for free. And then the brands get to reach an audience that they wouldn't have been able to reach otherwise. And then I just wanted to make a point about how I think it's so smart when brands send, especially like bigger influencers, women, a lot of their content or their products, because when the girls do hauls, I literally just watch the entire haul and try to pick out things I like and then add it to my little wish list. And I also think it was a really interesting point that Cox made, that you don't have to go after these macro influencers with millions of followers to do these brand integrations with and these promotions, because you can actually get micro influencers, which will probably be better, because when really big influencers do ads, it's almost like you don't trust them as much anymore because you know that they're just getting a lot of money out of it. But when you do micro influencers, you kind of know that they're getting paid less, and or that they're just making commission off of the code that they give them. So yeah. And then for the last question, I wanted to talk about Emma Chamberlain and her coffee company brand called Emma Chamberlain Coffee. Really nice name, super broad. So she's a great example, I think, of a lot of the things that Cox talked about in his entire book, from like the inception of trying to become famous to all the way to making your own brand. So I'll just talk about her entire career, I guess. I think she's a good example because she started on YouTube and she put all of her effort into that. And she did it. Why? Because she was really passionate about it and she was having fun just recording herself daily and talking to a camera. And she said that she did it because she didn't have very many friends, so she'd rather talk to a camera and then post it online. So she did it because she was genuinely passionate about it. And then she stuck to YouTube, which was another thing Brendan Cox said to do at the beginning, is stick to just one platform to begin with and try to create an audience there. So she just stuck to YouTube, and really she was consistent too, which is another thing Cox mentioned. She kept posting videos, the same content, until even when she wasn't getting a lot of views. And then when she started getting a lot of views is when she started getting approached by brand deals or brands to do brand deals, but she only partnered with brands that she actually believed in and weren't scammed, which is another thing that Brendan talked about, because then if you start posting stuff about brands that aren't very trustworthy, then your audience also isn't going to trust you. And she also didn't want her YouTube videos to be riddled with ads, because then it's just not fun to watch and you're going to lose your followers. So she did that. And then is when she started diversifying her income, is when she started going onto other platforms like Instagram and TikTok. So on Instagram, she started doing a really good job of just posting pretty much pictures of her, and she's really into fashion. So she got a lot of brand deals like that. And she only accepts like huge brand deals, which is also another thing that Cox talked about, is, but you rather do a few big brand deals instead of doing a lot of really tiny brand deals with miscellaneous companies that aren't as big. So one of her big brand deals is with PacSun, which is a clothing brand. And yeah, she started diversifying her income. So getting brand deals on Instagram, having those ads on YouTube, and just overall being on all platforms. And then that's when she decided to make her own coffee brand. And she made her own line because if you're an Emma Chamberlain fan, then you know that she loves coffee. So she made this coffee brand and everyone wants to try it because it's Emma Chamberlain and she loves coffee, so she knows her coffee. So I think one of the overarching themes that Cox makes is that, yes, everyone wants to be an influencer and everyone I think thinks it's pretty easy, but there's actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. And it's more important to build that lasting brand and kind of take steps a little slower instead of just becoming viral overnight and then having nothing happen with that viral exposure. Thank you.